In 1989, a Canadian scientific racialist, yes, I suppose there still are such things, rose to prominence with the theory that, in quantifiable ways, racially speaking, Asians are superior to whites, who are in turn superior to blacks. Predictably, he got a pretty rough ride in the press, in the op-ed pages, in the media. There were demonstrations. It had actual career consequences for him. And throughout it all, he conducted himself with a fairly quiet, scholarly dignity. He insisted all along that all he was doing was putting forth a theory and willing to debate it with all comers. Well, a lot of people did debate him, and the debates sometimes got emotional, like the famous one between himself and David Suzuki, a very famous, at least in Canada, media personality whose specialty is science and biology. But he has actually, in as much as such a thing as possible, been debunked. A lot of scientists have taken him on, and the general consensus in the scientific community is that his methodology is flawed. I've actually made a video where I deal with what I see as the problems in his research, and even I can see the big holes in the way that he has made his argument. Now, the lesson here is, one is inclined to sympathize with someone who takes a scholarly attitude towards controversial work and is then vilified. One is almost sort of inclined to consider such a person the underdog and give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they are actually just saying what they believe to be true, and they are now on the receiving end of vicious emotional attacks. Well, Rushton's experience, he later actually fell in with some fairly unsavory people and confirmed a lot of people's suspicions about him that they'd had for 20 years. His experiences, to me at least, show that just because you're attacked in a vicious way and you conduct yourself with dignity, it doesn't automatically follow that you're any more right than if people had just listened to what you had said and treated you with the dignity that you had conducted yourself. Just because you're spat upon, just because you're thrown to the piranhas, it doesn't mean that you are any more right, that you are any more rational even, just because you act rational. Thunderfoot is the subject of a feeding frenzy right now, and a lot of the arguments used against him are pretty nasty. And he seems to be getting fairly defensive, even slightly self-pitying about it. But just because people are very upset with what he is saying, it doesn't automatically follow that he's some sort of victim of vilification or emotional or personal attack. If you look at the polemic quality of his other videos, plus what I see as the sloppiness of his methodology, I would say even the hopeless sloppiness of his methodology, he's actually waded into things like science, or like history and sociology, which he doesn't seem to have a background in. Although at the end of the day, I don't know. That I think that his ideas are fairly easily debunked, or at least his position, his arguments are fairly easily debunked. And plus, his own videos on Islam, which he's now being criticized for, were pretty vicious, pretty emotional, both visually and polemically, rhetorically. It's difficult to see him as a victim now, even though he is actually being thrown to the sharks. There really is a feeding frenzy going on. But again, he has not scrupled to avoid those very tactics himself in the past. And just because he is now being turned upon by a large group of people and attacked, does not, in my estimation or in my view of the matter, give him any sort of moral consideration of victimhood. Thank you.